Hey gang, it's time for us to tell you about another Web3 game you need to start playing, and today's game is Unchained. You may have heard or played it already, but we're going to give you 5 reasons why you need to be playing the game right now. So like the video if you like card games, and comment below which Web3 card game you're playing currently. And let's get into the video. Oh yeah, don't forget to sub, as we love all our subscribers. So let's get into the 5 reasons why you need to be playing Unchained right now. With number 5, it's free to play. And we cannot understand how important that is considering we're in Web3 and how many games are free to play. The best part about their free to play model is you don't need to hold any tokens, own any NFTs to play the game, which is great and kind of refreshing as well. Considering it's a TCG, you kind of expect that you need to like own the cards and things like that. But you can accumulate them along the way of playing the game, and they give you a bunch of starter cards to play with for each of the gods that you play with. And it's kind of a change for that Web3, not needing to own a bunch of things to play the game, because if you take Spin Times for example, you need a bunch of SPS stake to play the game. Or other games have some other like weird methods of you need to spend money and have like a level of investment in the game before you start playing. But with Unchained, you get to start straight away, download the game, and you get to play straight away. It's really great, and it's nice to be able to just play a game before being asked to spend money, get your credit card, go on Binance, go get some tokens. It's such a great thing. Another part of their free to play model is free to play from start to end. Obviously, you might not get as far as the other people that own like a lot of cards in the game and stuff like that. But in reality, that's just normal card game kind of like motto. If you own all the cards, you're going to have all the advantages in the world. But if you don't, you got to think smart and you got to use all the cards that you have in your arsenal to the best of their ability. But that doesn't mean you're not going to get any cards along the way, because they have a bunch of different methods for you to gain cards, and they give you a bunch of packs at the beginning. If you do the tutorials and stuff like that, they could give you a bunch of starter packs so you can open some cards, have a little RNG and dopamine rush, and you never know what cards you're going to get and what cards you're going to get to improve your decks. The best part about their free to play model is you can earn, even though it might not be a lot of earnings, you can definitely earn a little bit along the way before you have to spend any money. And with that little bit of earning, you might be able to get yourself a few cards to improve your deck to get you to the next rank. Then, you never know, more you get to play the game, more you start to love it, then you might decide to invest into the game. Then once you invest, the avenues open up so much, and we're going to talk about the investing later in the video, but you don't need to invest a lot, and when you do invest, it's going to take you a long way, and once you invest a little bit, you might not need to invest again. But this is the first point of 5, so let's get into the rest of them. If Unchained being free to play wasn't enough, we got our 4th point, which is the new player experience. A lot of Web3 games have an issue when it comes to like onboarding players, allowing them to get better, allowing them to learn the game and stuff like that. But when it comes to Unchained, they have so many different avenues for you to learn the game, get better, and everything else. Starting off is the actual Unchained community themselves. As if you go into the Discord channel, and if you go into like the general chat, they're more than open to help you learn the game, give you some advice on cards, some decks to use and stuff like that. But they also have a specific channel called Strategy, and if you go in there, there's people constantly talking about different plays, different cards, and like different weaknesses when it comes to certain gods. And for new players, it's so great for them to be able to have like an open community to ask them questions, and then have the community being very open to respond to these questions, and not being any gatekeeperism when it comes to like plays. Because some people that are doing well, they don't want to teach everybody how to be as good as them. But when it comes to Unchained, F1 loves for people to join their game and to enjoy it. So when it comes to like the Discord and stuff like that, people are so helpful, and you can't ask for the community to do it anymore. But I also have 2 more avenues that I want to show you, but we're going to have to change up the screen for that because I want to explain these things to you properly, which is Unchained decks and also the Twitch, because unlike a lot of Web3 games, the Unchained community is very vibrant when it comes to Twitch, and people are constantly showing their skills and open to asking questions while they're playing. So let me show you these 2 other avenues. So here's one of the 2 avenues that I feel like great for the new player experience, and this is GU decks. This is basically like the hub of Unchained, and it gives you so much information in one website. At the bottom here, it tells you all the streamers that are currently playing Unchained, so you don't really have to like worry, because while you're looking up decks and stuff like that, you can easily click on a streamer and then watch them play and ask them their opinions on the deck you bought. And you can definitely watch them, because a lot of the streamers that play are Mystic players, which is the top rank. But they have so many great little like tabs up here that's going to help you, and the major one you're going to use is Meta. As when you go to Meta, it basically explains to you all the tiers of all the decks. because each god will have a different kind of like deck strategy they can go with, and they might have like 1 to 3 different kind of like plays or like chords you can play. And as you can see, they got the win percentage here, and not many of them are like overly powered, so you won't see like a 75% win strategy, as a lot of decks counter each other, and like no deck is perfect, which is great, as you can play a particular deck and get yourself some wins, and nothing's going to be super overpowered. And as you can scroll down, you can obviously find different decks, and for me, Aggro War is probably one of the best starter decks for people to get into because it's super cheap, and a lot of the cards you need are already a part of the starter deck. And when you go onto it, you can obviously see how expensive the decks are, and for me, this is a bit of an expensive war deck, as a lot of war decks will cost you around like $50, they won't cost you too much. But when you click onto them, it'll basically show you the cards that are in the deck, and it'll show you like the win percentage that the person, well, I'm not sure if this is just for the person that made the deck or all the people that are using this kind of deck as well. But for me, I think it's actually like all the people that use this deck and like the win percentage. But 71% for like a couple $100, that's definitely great. And like I said, this is a very expensive war deck, and they're definitely cheaper, as I've been using like a $50 deck and it's been getting me so far. And as you can see on the side, you can click on the cards and it tells you how much they cost. And if you want to quickly like buy the deck, you can buy it here. And when you click on buy deck, it will show you all the cards and how much they cost. And they have 2 little tabs here, and you can exclude the cards that you already own, and then it will take away the cards you got, so then you know which cards you already have and what you don't have. And for me, I thought this is a great tool for you to get better, because it's so hard for you to like learn how to make a deck and deck building when it comes to TCGs, and this website is amazing to help you along the way. And considering it tells you the prices and also allows you to buy the deck straight away, so you ain't got to siphon through all the little cards, keep 2 tabs open to buy all the cards all together. You can just buy them all in one go, which is so great. And this is why I feel Gods Unchained or GU Decks is definitely like the hub of Gods Unchained, as it will teach you everything about the game, and also it will also allow you to keep up with the weekend rank. So if you go to player stats, and then you can obviously type in your username. Once you type it in, you can see how many games you played. I've not played any weekend rank this week because I've been like keeping up with Splinterlands, but you can see how far you've gotten. And this is what I meant about like you can get packs from weekend ranked as well. And just look, you can get so many different things. This website is so useful for so much things, and you can play around with all the tabs and learn things and stuff like that. Like, it's so good. I can't really like explain it anymore. And just look at this chart is so great, and it can tell you which deck is better against other decks, and it can show you the win percentage and stuff like that. It's pretty funny actually that this is like 100%, like it's a hard counter. But this is what I mean. For a new player to have one single website to learn so much about one game, you can't ask for any more. And for like a new user experience, this is great, because you can if you join the game, someone will just go to GU Decks, and then you can learn so much. And then you can go to like YouTube and Twitch, and you can ask the streamers and the content creators about questions and get some great responses. But that leads us to our second source, which is going to be Twitch. Now let's talk about the final little part of that new user experience, and that's going to be Twitch, as not many Web3 games have a big kind of like community when it comes to Twitch and like people displaying the game. But when it comes to Gods Unchained, there's so many people streaming the game, and considering it's quite late for me right now in the UK, we still already got streamers on, and I feel there's some great ones that you could obviously go to see. Now Aldous is definitely a great one, and you also got Cooper, and you got some other people that are more than open to like for you to ask them questions. And if you want to like ask them what they're doing, what they think of the game, what they think about the improvements and stuff like that, they're very vocal and very open to talking to them. So like I guarantee when I click on one now, I'm gonna get hit with a Twitch advert. I can see it already. But as you can see on the top here, the people actually playing the game, people are enjoying it so much that they want to play the game and show it to everybody else. And for me, that's so key, as it shows that the community are loving the game. And also, not everyone's getting paid to just play the game, because you can't necessarily trust all the streamers and content creators when it comes to Web3. But when you can see loads of people are streaming the game because they just want to like display their skills, show them what they're doing and stuff like that. Like for now, you can see like the game's vibrant, the people are enjoying it, and the thing is, it's just a card game, and people could be sitting there for ages playing it. I see certain streamers playing it for about 6 hours and stuff like that. And the thing is, when it comes to Twitch, yeah, people can't really get by when it comes to like Twitch ads and like things like that. But when it comes to GU, people just want to like talk to the community while they're playing the game, and that's the main reason for Twitch and streaming, is like you want to bond with the community that you're playing with. And I feel like this is a great little tool. It might not be as like used as much as GU decks, but really you can like play the game yourself and then watch someone else playing it, and if you have any struggles you can ask them directly and get some straight answers. And it's easier to get an answer vocally from someone than waiting in Discord for a reply from someone. And I feel like, maybe it's just me, and I feel like Twitch is a great source to like get better at certain games and to like get advice. And when it comes to Gods Unchained, there's always going to be someone on, there's always going to be someone to answer your questions. And I thought that's so good for the new user experience, as when it comes to onboarding, you might want to ask someone a bunch of questions before you start playing the game. Then once you start getting into it, you can ask them about how to get better, and you can ask them, what's the best deck to try for a new user? What's the best card to buy to improve my deck? And the thing is, this community are more than open to help you along the way. Well, we're at the halfway point now, but for point number 3, yeah, it's the game mode. There are so many game modes that you can play to like practice, elevate your skills, and to have different types of like playing styles. Starting off, like every game has, so you have the casual game mode, which basically you can play and earn a little bit of that in-game token to spend in the star store, which is so you can buy like some NFT cards, which is great. Considering if you're going to be a free-to-play player, this is going to be a great way for you to get some NFT cards and increase your earning, as the earning comes down to the amount of NFT cards you have, and if you have a full collection of a particular rarity, you get a little bit of a bonus. But with the casual game mode, if you want to practice a deck before taking it to ranked mode and risk like your rank going up and down, it's a great way to practice this against people and like to practice the skills, take out cards in and out to make it better before you take it into the depths of ranked mode, because ranked mode is definitely going to be a lot more harder, a lot more competitive, and a lot more enjoyable for some people. The next game mode we're going to talk about is ranked mode, as a lot of people love this game mode, but for Gods Unchained it's kind of split into two, as during the week between Monday and Thursday you've got normal ranked mode, which allows you to go up the ranks, and then higher the rank, the higher the earning. But on the weekend they have a particular little event called Weekend Ranked, and with that is you basically, in your first 18 games, and depending on how many games you win, at the end of the weekend you get yourself some packs. And in these packs there are going to be some cards. It's definitely going to improve your deck. And for you free-to-play players, this is definitely going to be the best way for you to improve your decks, as getting cards from any sources is going to be very important, and weekend rank is going to be the most important one. And they don't not like kind of like hinder you on like which types of packs you get depending on what rank you are. It's very lenient, and it's not like if you're at the bottom rank you're only going to get 5 packs, and if you're at the top rank you get 20. It's a lot more linear than that, and it's definitely a way for you to generally gradually get better at the game, gradually get more cards, gradually improve your deck. It's just a great system. And on the weekend it's going to be a little bit more competitive, but there's definitely, like you saw in the other points I brought up, like GU decks and stuff like that, there's going to be ways for you to improve. And on the weekend rank, it's definitely going to be a way for you to practice your skills and know exactly where you are. But the other game modes, like they've only recently started bringing these ones in, so I'm going to call these like temporary game modes, as we already had one and they took it out and replaced it with another one. I feel like they're going to test the waters with all these different game modes to see which ones are more popular. But the first one we had was called Chaos Mode, and boy, it was a little bit of chaos, as you can use any card with any god. So you can use the war cards with a nature god and things like that. It's very good, very fun, definitely refreshing for people. And for me, it definitely allowed, so see the economy people, I don't like bring up economy much in my reviews, but for the economy it definitely boosted up some cards, because some cards weren't very used much because they might be a part of the nature deck. But the minute Chaos Mode came out, certain cards were so powerful when you got to pair them with other god spells. But Chaos Mode did get taken out and it got replaced with another game mode called Papus. I'm definitely butchering that name up. But what this game mode was that you could only use common and rare cards. So if someone had all the amazing legendary cards, all the expensive monsters and stuff like that, that was nothing. That meant nothing in the game, because you could only use the common and rares. I felt like this was a great game mode for like the free-to-play players and the new players in the game to kind of battle it out, have some fun, and then it's definitely a refreshing meta. Like, A lot of these game modes are more like meta shifts, if I'm honest with you, over game modes, but it's very good. And they got other ones coming up in the future. They got one called Sealed, which I think is going to be like a draft mode, and they got other ones planned in the future, so be ready for more to come. But for me, this is critical because you can have your normal casual ranked mode and the normal traditional style for the game, but having different kind of like event game modes is great to kind of like give the player base something new, a little bit refreshing, and I can't wait for more in the future. But the best part overall about all these game modes is they don't limit how many games you can play. Like within Splinterlands you got your energy meter, and in other games you got other systems. But with Gods Unchained you can play as many games as you want. Yeah, you only earn from your first 10 games, but for me, they don't stop you from playing. And what that allows you to do is keep playing, get to higher ranks, so then the next day you can earn more. I feel like this system is so much better. But now we're at the halfway point, let's get into the top 2 reasons why you need to be playing Gods Unchained right now. So now we're up to the last 2 points of why you need to play Gods Unchained, and for number 2, they're going to be on mobile soon. Like, mobile is such a big thing, so let me get into the reasons why. Currently, the mobile version of the game is in alpha, which means it's going to be out very soon. After they work out the little tweaks and the little glitches and stuff like that and the bugs, we're going to have a mobile app of Gods Unchained. And then it can really compete with Hearthstone, considering Hearthstone is the only kind of like competitor to this game, because let's be honest, it's kind of a similar style and a similar format. So it's the only kind of like competitor in the game, so we can generally steal their audience. Not steal, maybe like bridge them over. But the thing is, with the mobile app, it's going to be a lot more accessible to everybody, because not everyone has a computer. And with Web3 is global. And if you think about the places where like NFTs, crypto and Web3 in general is like popular, not a lot of them have the access to a computer. So if it's going to be on mobile, everyone has a mobile device in their hands. And then once that happens, the like onboarding is going to be great. The community is just going to grow and get bigger and bigger. But I don't think you don't actually understand yet how massive having a mobile app for the game is for like a Web3 game. Because not a lot of games generally think about like the mobile audience at all. I know Splinterlands has their mobile game, and I think Axie as well has their own mobile version, but for Gods Unchained, it's going to be absolutely perfect, because when you're in the toilet, you can quickly have your quick couple of games, or if you're on the train, you can have your couple of games. Like, it's so great, and then people will be more open to playing the game because they won't feel like, oh okay, let me sit on my computer for hours on end. Because in reality, if you have a card game that you can play for like 5 minutes on your phone, that's going to be a lot more advertising to people than them having to sit on their computer all day. And if you think about the mobile games that are popular, like Clash of Clans and things like that, you could definitely like kind of like compete with them games, even though they're different. But mobiles are so big, because literally everyone has a mobile device in the world. Everyone has the mobile, like a mobile in their hand, and the mobile kind of gaming audience is massive. And I'm not going to say like it's bigger than a computer audience, but think about it. Your nan plays freaking the gem game on their phone and stuff like that. So mobile is massive for any game, not just Web3. And think about the microtransactions that are already in mobile games. That's literally what Web3 is, a bunch of microtransactions. So the audience is already used to this system. So when it gets to mobile, I think Gods Unchained is going to take off massively. You've heard some amazing points on why you need to start playing Gods Unchained, but now we got to number 1. And that is the cost of entry to play the game. When it comes to Web3 games, you're always wondering, how much do I need to invest? Do I need to sell my house? Do I need to mortgage things? But when it comes to Gods Unchained, there's such a minimum amount of entry that you need, because you can really get by with about $50 or $50 plus. Because you can play it free to play, but after you start playing for a while, you want to like experiment, play with some cards and do little things. And as you saw in one of our points with like GU decks, you can easily go and click on a deck, do some research, and then right there you can see how much it's going to cost you, and then you can obviously buy the whole deck or buy some of the cards and then fill in the rest of the cards you have. But let me not just like summarize it in like a quick little sentence, let me explain it a little bit better. But to get to the top ranks of the game, which is Mystic, you don't really need to invest too much, as if you do some research on the GU decks, you can literally get like a $50, $60 deck, and you can get so far with that. Obviously, it comes with a lot of skill, a lot of experience to get to that level with that kind of deck, but with most games, they're asking you for, I don't know, $1,000, $500 to get to like minimum level of ranks. But with GU, if you play with one deck for a long time, get really used to it, know how to combat other gods and stuff like that, you can generally get to high ranks. And for like a TCG game as well, you can't ask for any more for like a minimal investment. And considering you're going to get a few of the cards possibly already from playing like the game already with like the starter cards and the free cards, you only need to buy a few cards to fill in the spaces, and then you've got a playable deck. Then you can have all the fun in the world, beating all the big people and then climbing the ranks to the top. Then once you get to Mystic, it comes down to staying at the top, and that's always the fun part. But you also got to think about it. You can really buy one deck, and that one deck can last you forever. You don't really have to buy another deck, but it's hard. It's really hard to not want to do that, because once you played with a deck for a while, you're like, okay, I'm really good at this one, but what can I do with other decks? What do other decks do? And the thing with Gods Unchained, they don't kind of force you to invest. You yourself have to stop yourself from buying loads of cards, buying decks and stuff like that. Maybe it's because the GU deck website kind of makes deck searching so easy. So all you got to do is click a button, you see a deck, you're like, oh, I like that deck, and it seems to have a good win rate with the percentage at the bottom. Let me just buy it, experiment with it and play with it and see how far I go. And that's the thing, they don't force you to invest. You yourself have to stop yourself from being a degenerate and spending so much money on cards. I thought that's a beautiful thing. But you can really just get by with one deck. You can really improve that one deck with a few other cards. Like you can play a deck for like a month and then maybe buy 1 or 2 cards to improve it like after a month, and then slowly just use the money you gain from playing the game with the gods tokens and then buy some cards. And for me, with a Web3 game, not trying to force you into buying things all the time, it's a great thing to ask for. And like I said in a previous point with Weekend Rank, you get loads of packs from them. And I'm not sure if they're going to bring out like different types of packs when they bring out different types of sets. But think about it, you can always improve your deck with the packs you get from Weekend Rank. And as you climb up, you start getting a few more packs, and then you start getting more legendary packs over the epic packs. You'll start really getting the cards you already need. But you do have to be strong and you do have to be skillful to be able to reach that level of playing. But with that small little bit of investment, it's a heaps of, you can literally climb heaps over the competition and you can do so well. And like, the thing is, I compare a lot of like TCG games in Web3 to Splinterlands. And with Splinterlands, you kind of need like, I don't know, between like $500 to $1,000 to play at like silver level or gold level. And with Gods Unchained, you can really spend like $50 to $100 and you're good to go. But you don't really need to spend $100. You can spend $50 on like a aggro war deck, for example. You can even get it a bit cheaper if you don't want to use certain cards. Then you can play that deck and get to higher levels, then slowly like improve it with the Weekend Rank packs or like the cards you get from the Star Store. Or you can literally just go search some cards up and buy 1 or 2 cards, because with Gods Unchained, 1 or 2 cards can really change the power of your deck, and then you can do so much better. And in reality, we're all trying to reach the top rank, which is Mystic, but you don't really have to reach that level if you're just trying to like play casually and just earn some tokens along the way. So that's having a one strong deck that you build on and you're skillful with. And the thing with Gods Unchained, you definitely want to get used to a deck so you can know how to use all their abilities, when to use them, when not to use them, know how to use this deck to combat certain gods' abilities. So it's more like muscle memory and like experience when it comes to like Gods Unchained over, I have all the cards. If I have all the cards, I am the king. But definitely it helps, but so a skillful player would definitely beat a not skillful player with all the cards. Because having all the cards don't mean you actually know how to use them. And one final point on this, use the Star Store to your ability. Because you can get yourself some meteorite cards and then they can obviously increase your value and when it comes to earning, as obviously higher rarity of the card, higher earnings you get. But you can definitely get yourself some like decent cards from there, and they're not trying to just bog you with loads of like rubbish cards in that Star Store. So definitely wait around, don't waste all your in-game tokens on just like, you know, buying random cards you see in there. Be a bit selective, as when you do want a particular card and you don't have enough tokens, you're going to be hitting yourself in the head and you'll be rather annoyed. So you be smart, use your tokens well, and maybe just use one deck here that you build from the starter cards, and then be like, okay, I like this god, then we go on GU deck and then go buy a deck from their list, from the Mystic decks, and then dominate. Because all we want to do is have fun and have a little bit of domination. And with Gods Unchained, they don't ask you for a lot to do that. I could come up with so many more reasons why you need to be playing Gods Unchained right now, but I don't want it to be an hour-long video. So the best thing you should do is download it now. right now. But that's it from us for today, so get ready for us to talk about more Web3 games in the future. So like the video if you like Gods Unchained, and comment below which point you like the most, and subscribe for more play to earn content, and remember, be a shark in your space, not a whale, and we're going to see you guys next time.